How's everybody's evening going? I'm gonna put out some. How's everybody's evening going? I should probably mute that. Actually, I'm just gonna close this whole thing. There we go. Now I'm gonna put it up on the. Wow, Willie's already here.
Hi, Willie.
Oh, I love it. Um. Okay. So I guess we'll just hang out for a second while we wait for everybody to show up. Um,
And we're live, and it's Saturday night.
right. Oops. Okay.
I figured this is probably gonna be like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, this is going to be a shorter stream.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be shorter.
And then I'm going to put up the live emoji for this. And there we go. Yeah. What do you mean? I think Tuesday was a pretty normal night of D&D, don't you think?
So incredibly normal.
If anything, I was a little bored. He lied. I was talking to Brand.
Lies.
I was talking to Brand about that today. Like, you have no idea how satisfying it was. That was months of work, planning, and just.
So, I've got to be completely honest. I understand that it can be burdensome having, the kind of player who writes 17 pages of backstory. But the amount of dopamine I got when you brought all of that shit out, like, fuck.
Oh yeah, you're gonna give me 17 pages of backstory and expect me not to use it?
See, that's my perspective, and so when DMs are like, "Oh God, I don't like all this," I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude? That's so much less work that you have to do."
I know, that's world building right there.
Exactly.
So yes, I will be putting this up as a VOD. I'm also going to be. I realized that I auto export everything that I put on Twitch to my YouTube channel, which I've done nothing to promote, and in fact, I don't even remember what the name of the channel is. But
I believe it's Tribbery Manor, but
oh, okay, there we go.
I think so. I'm gonna check her.
But that's yeah, there will be a record available. So tonight we will be exploring what happens to Eckhart. Make this a VOD as a highlight and it'll save forever. Oh, okay. Yeah, I will definitely do that.
Yes, it is Tribbery Space Manor.
All right. So that's the YouTube channel. Everybody go to that.
It's 25 Days of Christmas movies. Stuff about Howie. Something about and some stuff about food.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep.
So tonight we will be exploring what happened to Eckhart after the events of Tuesday's game. Tuesday, spoilers. Spoilers for anyone who missed last Tuesday at We'll Start With Me. The villain of this particular story was revealed, and in a dramatic twist, was in fact the NPC who you thought was helping you along the whole time. You have been betrayed. That was
Always.
that was Brandy with the yoga ball. Um, so, uh, yeah, you've been seized by a group of kobolds and led through Rathgar the Blue's pirate fortress. Um, at the back of the box canyon in which the fortress is settled, there is a a series of cells, one of which you were thrown into. This 10-foot radius oblong hemisphere was carved directly out of the base of the cliff. Steel bars have been sunk into the opening at 6-inch intervals, with a steel box built into the center which houses the cell door. The door hinge is built into the box and is inaccessible. The lock on the cell door is within a steel box 8 inches wide by 8 inches high by 10 inches deep that is opened with another, smaller key. The hemisphere is roughly hewn from the cliff and offers no protection from the wind coming in from the inlet. Its curved floor makes it impossible to sleep anywhere but right in front of the door. The 3-foot by 4-foot table they've provided you with is fitted joinery with no nails or bands. It is wobbly on the uneven floor, and the gaps between the leaves makes it difficult to write on. The quill they have provided you appears to be a feather plucked from Flip's head, a mockery of your threat to the emissary. The ink is kept in an earthenware pot. The blanket they provided you is tattered, threadbare canvas that is sized for a kobold and therefore does not cover your whole body. You have 2 buckets, which appear to be for water and a toilet. Don't mix them up, a kobold sneers cruelly as you are locked inside. Beyond the cell is 15 feet of open space, the stone floor of which has been carved into sharp points to slow anyone not wearing shoes. Beyond the open space is an open shack. The missing 4th wall faces the cell. Inside the shack is a cast iron stove, a small pantry, a weapons rack, a chest, a round table, and 2 chairs. 3 kobolds man the shack. 2 rest around the table while 1 watches over you. They rotate every 2 hours, and every 12 hours a new crew replaces them. What would you like to do?
I'm completely naked, right?
You got your skivvies on, but yeah.
Okay, cool. At least they left me with those. Alright. Alright, I get up and I'm gonna just kind of take stock of the cell for a second. And well, if you want me to do any work, I'm going to need some tools. We can't just make alchemy happen out of thin air.
The kobold on watch sneers at you, then taps one of the resting kobolds on the foot with the butt of his spear. Go get the quartermaster, he growls. The prisoner needs some tools.
I walk up to the bars and grip them and kind of put my head through them, all weird. And I don't care if you bring me my own equipment or not, but I need a gemstone. I need to be able to imbue the burner flame with magic, or else this whole thing is pointless. There's a diamond in my coat that I've used, but you don't have to grab it. I don't care what it is. Just, it needs to be something about this big and worth about 100 gold.
The guard rolls his eyes and leans on his spear. Tell it to the quartermaster. He'll be along presently. The quartermaster comes waddling around the corner of the large building beyond the shack, pushing a wooden wheelbarrow. He's strange to you in that he is an elderly kobold. One of his eyes is white with cataracts, and his feathers are dull and graying. He hobbles on an amputated left foot, which has been replaced with the claw feet of a standing candelabra. Inside the wheelbarrow is a chemistry set, which is almost complete, along with the exact ingredients that are required to study the Blackwater. There's also a pearl, worth about 100 gold in a velvet pouch. He signals to the guards and waits for them to gather. The 3 guards approach the cell. 2 of them level their spears at you. The 3rd unlocks the cell and opens the door. The guards enter the cell and push you to the back with the points of their spears. The 3rd draws his scimitar and waves the quartermaster in, who pushes the wheelbarrow and unloads the contents onto the table. He unfolds a manifest from his pocket. This right here is a list of the shit that we gave you. Look it over and add whatever else you need to the list and give her to the guard. I'll be back at the end of the day to collect it. Anything's missing, Rathgar's having roast kenku for dinner. Questions?
I quickly look over everything. You said the chemistry set was incomplete or almost complete. What's missing?
You're missing some. Oh God, what are those that are? They're round bottoms and they're kind of triangular in shape with the flute at the top.
Erlenmeyer flask?
Yeah, it's the one. That's
one?
the one.
I might be wrong on that. I did not do well in chemistry.
You've only got one when typically you're used to having a few.
Okay. No questions. It looks like everything's here. If I could get another one of these, at least one more, that would be useful. But let's see here. For today, I'll just I'll start with minerals. Just bring me an assortment of stones. Sedimentary, igneous, metamorphic, a few of each type, preferably different. Oh, also, when you come by tonight to retrieve everything, make sure you bring a second wheelbarrow lined in lead, divided into sections for the different stones. They're highly volatile after being imbued with the Blackwater, and you don't want them touching anything, especially each other. Unless you want this to be your last day on the job, that is. I will test minerals today and move on to ferrous metals tomorrow, then non-ferrous the next day, just so you know what I will need in the coming days and can prepare it.
The whole time you're talking, the quartermaster is just staring at you, still holding out the manifest. When you're finished, he grunts with a sort of bored annoyance and writes everything down on the manifest. You can have one mineral at a time, and you must surrender the previous mineral before you can receive the next one. I'll assign a runner to make sure this is smooth.
Yes, very well. Just be sure they bring the correct ones. Each must be tested differently, and the wrong method on the wrong stone could have catastrophic effects. I've had to rebuild my shop 4 times in the last decade for this very reason.
Quartermaster sighs and kind of massages the bridge of his snout with his thumb and forefinger. Boys, I do believe this couillon thinks he's better than us, learning different. The guard to your left slams the shaft of his spear into your gut. As you double over, the guard with the scimitar slams the pommel against the side of your head. When you fall, you're covered in stomping hobnail boots. They're just kicking the shit out of you. One of them breaks your nose, and you hear a rib crack. The guards laugh cruelly as they leave, you crumpled against the cell's curving back wall. Better get to work, Shah. Don't want to keep Rathgar waiting.
Oh boy. Um, how close is Flip's cell to mine?
He's in the next cell over, but there's about 3 feet of stone between your cell and his. While you're getting beaten up, he starts screaming for them to stop. And he's currently, you can hear him kind of softly weeping to himself.
Don't like that. I really don't like that. Um, yeah, I really don't like it. Okay. So, Eckhart remains curled up in pain for a while, before he slowly begins dragging himself up and over to the table. Um, he is going to take stock of the chemistry supplies again, and inspect the whatever the first mineral he has. Um, he's going to take weight and volume measurements, and then he's going to start prepping a vial to make the black water sample. Um,
What's that like?
yeah, I've never. So the process of testing, the actual like testing process for black water, like what it is, like what you're essentially testing, um, uh, testing black water is basically just it reacts to every single material like in existence differently.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it does it in this really chaotic, like negative and destructive way, usually. And so Blackwater testing is essentially, it also does it consistently, like across materials. So, like if you do it on the same type of material, it will always do the exact same thing.
Okay.
Um, so it's like chaotic, but also stable in that way. Um, and so, like Blackwater testing is essentially just testing like different materials, different types of rocks, different types of metals, like, and cataloging them so that you always know like what it will do when in contact with something. Um,
Okay.
and so because actual black water only comes from one place, um, Garrett makes a synthetic version, by using tissue samples from the parts of him that have been corrupted by the black water.
Okay.
And so basically a tissue sample from his like own corrupted like flesh parts is dissolved in purified sterile water in a 1 to 10 ratio, tissue to water. Um, and normally, what he does is he would have Flip strap him down in his lab,
Mm-hmm.
and have Flip extract it because doing it himself is really hard. So like all of the corrupted flesh is like very like dulled to sensation and pain. But when you try to like separate it from itself, it's almost like it resists it, and there's just, pain is like excruciating, and the cut isn't clean, and it's horrible. Um, so since Flip is in another cell, Eckhart has to do this by himself,
Oh, fun.
um, and he will probably cry out in pain a lot, um, but eventually get it. Um, take some time to recover, and then uh, like make the sample. Um, the each Blackwater sample will be good for at least like a dozen tests. It's basically like one vial, um,
Oh,
but
okay.
he has to make a new vial every day, or every time he's doing the tests, because he uses magically shielded glass for the Blackwater. But even magically shielded glass will eventually be corrupted and like mutate if it contains it for an extended period of time. So, um, basically, he has to make a new one every time he does the testing, and so the samples he makes are very small. Um, so he's just going to start testing the whatever minerals he's given, and he's going to continue just doing the work until one of two things happens. They brought me a pearl. So I'm going to wait until either I am given a mineral that is similar in size and shape to the pearl, or it begins to near the end of the day, and I'm like down to like the last few samples, and I know I'm running out of time before sunset or something.
Okay. So you still hear Flip crying in the next cell over.
And while I'm working, I'll call out and go, Flip, it's going to be okay. I promise. But I have to ask, how many of your feathers did they take?
Flip's voice cracks. They got nothing out of me, boss. I ain't no stool pigeon.
Well, I have at least one feather here. Don't lie to me. I swear, if I get to look around that corner and you've been plucked bald, why? He coughs up some blood and tries to clear his throat.
Taking on the accent of an English butler. It's all right, sir. We carry on. Feathers grow back, but dignity does not. Chin up, sir. We can make it, and we will make it through this. Together, you and I, just as we always have. Now, I believe there is work to be done. The guard on duty approaches your cell and clatters his spear against the bars. Shut the fuck up, you two, and you get to work before we come back in again. This time we'll give you a little lag nap on top. Maybe have 2 vultures in there. And he laughs maliciously at you as he goes back to the shack.
You say vultures?
Yeah.
I don't like the implications of this, and okay, so Edgard's just gonna head down, be stewing and just keep working, and keep waiting for one of his conditions to come by.
Okay. After a few hours, the runner kobold that the quartermaster told you about comes by. What you need now? I got a jar for the old one. He holds out a lead jar for you to put the mineral in.
I take it and I place it inside the jar. It's like turned green and is like growing weird, like spindly, hairy growths or something. Get me something sedimentary, maybe limestone, preferably a concretion, something rounded, like a ball.
He writes this down on a slip of paper and leaves. About 15 minutes later, he comes back and casually tosses a rough sphere of dirt into your cell.
How big is it?
About the size of a golf ball.
How big is the pearl?
Significantly smaller than that.
Fuck. Okay.
As you're studying the church, the quartermaster arrives with a small crate. Allons, mes amis, we got that special delivery from the big city. They sent us the good stuff this time. Roll me a perception check.
Is 8 + 1 9.
The kobolds descend on the crate like starved dogs. There's cheese, bacon, oranges, and some very familiar looking bottles of brown liquid.
Is it centaur?
You can't tell through
It's centaur, isn't it?
your swollen, blackened eyes, but there is a familiarity to the label. Roll me another perception check with risk.
Okay. Let's see here. That is a Da, 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 17.
What was the other one?
Oh, sorry. No, I rolled a 5 and a 16. I have +1. And with risks, that would be 17.
Okay.
Sorry.
As your
I shouldn't assume.
as your vision focuses in on the label, the rampant archer centaur materializes. You also notice
Uh,
a,
fuck.
a crate. On the crate, there's a distinct marking, a semicircle topped with buildings superimposed behind a pike, which you might remember is the Dock Pikes logo.
Eckhart is going to take a sharp breath and mutter and think to himself, James Tibbs, you foul, loathsome little cockroach. um, Fuck. All right, I'm gonna keep my ear out for listens, for mentions of either the Merchants Guild or the Dock Pikes, and also possibly maybe if I get any like crumbs or scraps.
Okay.
Um, so thinking about this, for anyone for any of our other players, James Tibbs was the head of the Merchants Guild who was at the Dock Pikes headquarters when we had to do that fucking like bullshit talent show thing in order to like entertain them for the evening in order to get that keg of whiskey. Um, and so like the Merchants Guild funds everything in town, from the Dock Pikes to like the quest boards and everything. Um, so if the Dock Pikes are funneling supplies to Rathgar, then the Merchants Guild is likely giving them the supplies or the supply routes with which to raid. These are just my thoughts. Um, so James Tibbs has wanted me gone for a long time for a lot of reasons. Like I'm really hard for the guild to ensure because I blow shit up a lot. But also like his nephew has an alchemist shop and his nephew's just a shitty alchemist. Like it's not my fault. And I always did better than he did. So if somehow when we were drunk, Tibbs managed to like have someone like rope us into the quest to hunt Rathgar, then he would have a way to get me out of the city while also sending a pet alchemist to his new business associate Rathgar.
Okay. At this point, the kobolds notice Rathgar rounding the corner
Oh fuck. Okay. God
and
damn it.
snap to attention. Rathgar laughs a hearty, almost paternal laugh. Non, non, chat. Là, c'est le bon temps pour les. Eat your fill. But toss me that key there.
Oh shit. Toss me that key. Okay. I have like a piece of paper that I like crumpled up and have been like chewing on it for a bit. I've got it to like roughly the size of the pearl at this point. Um, uh, while they're like having this conversation, I'm gonna use because I have alchemy supplies here. I'm gonna use my magical tinkering. I'm going to put a drop onto like the little wad of paper, and make it appear to be the exact same color, texture, and appearance as the pearl.
Okay.
And maybe like with a few like Icarus black cracks to make it look all corrupted and shit.
All right.
Oh, do I have a chance to touch the real pearl and cast invisibility on it too?
Roll sleight of hand with risk.
Fuck. Okay, 16 and 5 again, so 18 and 7.
Okay. The kobold on guard tosses Rathgar the key, and he stares you down with a genteel smile as he approaches. You are able to cast with a reasonable level of certainty that Rathgar didn't see you do it.
Okay.
His smile doesn't waver as he unlocks the cell, but his eyes are predatory. So he unlocks the cell, opens it, and just stands beside the open door for a beat. Roll a wisdom save.
9 plus 1, 10.
Rathgar's smile broadens. He enters the cell, leaving the door open. He turns his back to you as he picks up your water bucket, dumps all the water out, and then sets it in the shadow of the cliff before setting down upon it, with crossed legs stretched out in front of him and fingers contentedly interlaced on his stomach.
I say nothing, I just wait.
Rathgar closes his eyes, smiling, and heaves a contented sigh.
Okay, yeah, this pause is too awkward. I don't like this. The guard is going to lean forward on the stool and put his elbows on his knees. So, based on the context clues I've gathered, I'm guessing Mr. Tibbs and the dock pikes of Mudtown funneled me right to you.
He opens one eye, and then he jerks himself forward and rifles through his vest pocket and retrieves a bundle of cigarillos. He offers you the bundle with one cigarillo kind of sticking out from it at you. You don't play much poker, do you, Mr. Vanderwise? And his voice is smooth like honey drizzled into black tea.
I hesitate, but I will slowly reach out to take one. No poker, no. I've spent enough of my life studying probability to know I would never make it at gambling.
Rathgar winks and lights your cigarillo with a match before retrieving one from the bundle for himself. I expected not. You are far too liberal with information. He takes a long opening drag before opening his mouth and just letting the smoke roll out, making him look even more like one of his dragon ancestors. What games do you play, Mr. Vanderwise?
Wish I had like a fake cigarette here or something. Eckhart takes a slow drag from the cigarillo, probably coughs a bit, and takes a little bit more, blows it down into the well of the floor and watches it pool and collect. Well, to be honest, I've had very little time for games since I
that's
left.
just mean.
What? Ah! There's a child!
You're killing the tension, baby.
There's a child!
Oh, wait, am I falling off the bed? No, okay.
Yeah, to be honest, I've had very little time for games since I left Niall's employ. I usually spend my downtime reading. I gesture up and down at my corrupted flesh. Reading stimulates the mind, and ever since Niall's little experiment, I found I need to keep my mind sharp, lest it deteriorates.
Rathgar pauses, his face still locked in that cordial smile. That's a shame. A life only focused on living isn't much of a life. A man needs a bit of fun now and again to remind him why he's living. He rolls another cloud of smoke thoughtfully. we will have to work on your poker face. These kobolds can't play cards for nothing. They're loyal and a hardy crew, but simple creatures. Speaking of, looks like you've been jumped in. Welcome to the crew. He
Eckhart is like
blows smoke at you.
Eckhart is like mid-dragon. Oh, Rathgar, you know, one of the questions that has been nagging at me ever since we started this journey was how anyone managed to get an entire army of kobolds disciplined and doing what they say. And if this is how you induct them into your crew, then it's no wonder they listen to you.
Well, you know, there is no stick without a carrot. But on my crew, you earn your carrots.
Hit the cigarillo again and... Well, I suppose I will need to work on my poker face. Perhaps I gesture at my horrendous disfigurement again. Perhaps this will perhaps this will help me. After all, they can't tell if I'm lying if they can't bear to look at me, right?
You underestimate the hardiness of my crew, or the ugliness.
Well,
Oh, I should probably put Rathgar up on the screen so people can see.
well,
There he is.
you know. Holy fuck! That dude's scary as shit! Holy, oh god! Also, fuck, he's like buff as hell. So, okay, I laugh with him, and, well, you know, Flip, before I met him, actually spent a number of years, sailing on merchant vessels and, has a propensity for dice games. There's one in particular he likes called Liar's Dice, and, well, it's not my favorite. You might appreciate it as a fan of poker.
Liar's Dice, yeah. I'm familiar with the game. It's a tavern game, isn't it?
Yes. Usually only played at the taverns down by the docks, though, as dice are sometimes the only thing the sailors bring out with them.
It's true. Well, you know, dice are a good game for sailors. It's waterproof. Don't get destroyed if you wash overboard. Generally good investment. And then besides, everybody loves dice, don't they?
They do. I actually have quite a few of them myself.
It's a shame I can't see your collection. But I'm not here simply to talk about games and which we like to play. I'm here hoping for a bit of reassurance, really. You see, we took you away from a group of folk who might be keen to get you back.
Oh, goodness. Oh, this is funny. Honestly, they are as much at fault for me being here as you are. That group of folk is the biggest lot of jackasses I have ever met in my entire life.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm even on this mission is because I got roped into it due to their association with me, because they just wouldn't leave me alone.
Yes, well, Can't always choose our friends now, can we?
I suppose not.
Case in point. And he kind of points the butt of his cigarillo at you, chomps at it.
Yes.
But still, since they do seem very keen to stick around you, they might be coming here looking to stir up trouble. I would not enjoy that. So, I'm wondering, what can you tell me about them?
Well, let me start by saying this. We unceremoniously obtained the name the Bad Joke. Because that's exactly what this entire thing has been, a bad joke. One of them is a nun who can't stop trying to make friends with absolutely everything that moves. Honestly, if she walked in here, she would probably just shake hands with your ogres and try to ask them out for tea. I'm not convinced that she has violence in her. One of them has been drunk the entire time I've known him. Or, well, no. That actually started recently, but it's because I have brought him back to life 3 times in the last 3 days. I wouldn't be worried about his ability to survive. And since then, he has constantly been intoxicated. So I'm still not convinced he can do anything. The other one, the one who's not a penguin, I have known for not a long time, but a number of months, and the entire time I've known him, he has been blasted out of his mind, let's say. He has done more substances than I have tested, and I'm honestly not entirely certain how he's still standing. And then the final one believes himself to be some dashing, debonair rogue from the fairy tales and the stories he was read as a child, and romanticizes the idea of heroism, and honestly has gotten a few really lucky shots in on your men. But he's more likely to just try to sneak in here by himself and save the day and make a hero of himself, rather than perform an actually well thought out plan.
Well, this is indeed reassuring. And then there's you, Eckhart Vanderwise.
Indeed. The half monster that you have caught in a cage.
Indeed, the half monster. Half monsters have their uses, don't you agree?
One could say the same of you.
Indeed. But one mustn't forget the other half. And he casts Detect Magic.
Fuck. Okay.
This is also the reassurance I was hoping to find. He picks up the fake pearl and squishes the salivated paper between his fingers. He looks at you, and he's on you like a raptor. He's got his hands around your neck and slamming you up against the wall. You think you can bluff me, boy, in my maison? I know you, Eckhart Vanderwise. I see through your skin. I know your soul. I can read your mind. Don't you lie to me, boy. Don't give me that disrespect. Roll a strength check.
I have -1. 9.
You take 12 points of bludgeoning damage.
Fuck, okay. That's half my health.
You want to play with me, boy? I will play with you. And I always win. He slams you up against the wall again. Roll me another strength check.
4.
14 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm down.
He holds you up with your feet dangling and looks at your broken body and throws it down on the ground. Then casts Healing Word, resurrecting you to 1 hit point. He kind of straightens his vest, turns his back on you again, and casually walks out of the cell. I'll bring some cards next time I drop by. We can work on that poker face. And he closes the cell behind him and walks away. As he's walking away, Mes amis, make sure he gets some food. Can't have him dying so easily all the time now, can we? And then retires back to wherever it was he came from.
Question. He cast invisibility on the pearl. Did he take the pearl?
Oh, shit.
Because he cast detect magic.
Well, invisibility is a concentration spell.
Concentration. So I would have. I went down, so I would have lost concentration on it.
So yeah, he's got the
pearl.
pearl.
Is okay because the pearl is part of like the equipment that I asked for. So like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so, but he would have taken. So he would have taken the pearl then.
Yeah, he's got the pearl.
Okay. All right. Fuck.
So, while you're coughing, one of the kobolds kind of see, this is what I tell you, Sha. You don't get on Rathgar's bad side. See, you lose your toys, sometimes you lose your life. You lucky he like you. He tosses a wax paper bundle into the cell. It kind of bounces off of your broken chest.
What time of day is it?
Late afternoon, early evening. The sun's going down.
Well, I actually wasn't lying about needing a gemstone to create a magical flame, but I was bullshitting about the type of gemstone like needed. Like there is a specific type of gemstone I need, but I don't need a magical flame for this. Actually, I've actually needed a magical flame for this experiment because black water is just weird. So fuck. God damn it! There goes my entire fucking plan. All right.
Also, you're at 1 hit point.
Yeah, I know. I drag myself to the table and I start mixing myself a healing tonic.
Unfortunately, you do not have the
Oh, he took like all my chemistry shit too?
He only gave you the stuff specifically for studying the black water.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Alright, well. Okay. Well,
But now you have a wax paper bundle. And a half-smoked cigarillo that is still smoldering on the floor.
I open the bundle. What's in it?
Inside is a broken loaf of hardtack, and half of a salted herring.
Okay. Um. Okay. No, this is fine. Okay. I've got this. I eat the food. Um, Cigarello is smoldering, but it's middle of the afternoon. They're right outside with food. I can't do anything with it. It'll be out before I can do anything. So I'm going to kind of tap out the coal so that the Cigarello, whatever is left, is still usable. And I will continue. I will eat and continue doing the work, I guess. I'm waiting till the end of the day.
Okay.
Now,
Um,
I am trying to because the parchment and ink and quill, they just gave that to me, right? Like that wasn't like the manifest like inventory stuff that they were taking in and out. Like I was allowed to write, basically.
mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So I will wait until they take all the shit out, and I will be writing my like notes for the for the day, my summary of the day's research, essentially.
Okay. The quartermaster arrives with his wheelbarrow. The kobolds gather around, same drill. They put their spears to you and pin you to the wall with their spear points, while the one with the scimitar stands with his blade bared, while the quartermaster collects all of your stuff, very carefully checking against the manifest to ensure that nothing is missing.
Well, there's a missing pearl now, but
He seems to already understand
yeah.
where that went. When he leaves, the one of the guards kind of takes the butt of his spear and kind of like guides it along the inside of your leg, and then just whack against your nethers before laughing and leaving.
All right.
So it is
So,
nighttime.
do I have any like torchlight with which to write, at least?
The only light is coming off of the shack.
Okay, but I do have like some semblance of light that I can use to write with.
Yes. However, the wind coming in from the sea is making it extremely hard to keep the paper down on the table.
Okay.
It's also
Well,
extremely cold.
okay. You said the ink was in an earthen pot, pot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I give up trying to write my notes, and I'm going to think about the day a little bit, and let all of the rage and fury and sorrow and pure unbridled hatred just shake me for a bit. I'm gonna pin the paper down and shakily scrawl out a passage. The passage says, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty started to crawl. All Rathgar's horses, all Rathgar's men, never slept soundly, ever again. And I'm gonna let the wind just kind of take it.
All right. And then you're
And then,
gonna go to sleep?
Then I'm going to take the pot
Mm-hmm.
of ink, I'm going to curl up in, whatever place I can, facing away from the shack, clutching the pot to my chest. And while I do my long rest, I'm going to turn it into an alchemy jug.
Ah, here's the rub. Before your long rest is complete, you feel a presence.
I'm like, basically what I'm doing to turn it into an alchemy jug is I have like my gross claw hand, I've like stabbed like the claws into my palm, and I'm just dripping this like black Icarus like liquid into the jug and like infusing it. And I'm just like in the middle of this and stop and I look around.
And there's Rathgar standing over you with a lit cigarillo in his maw, just staring down at you.
The only consolation I take is that you can't use anything I make if I'm dead. I'm gonna reach through the bars and cast Inflict Wounds.
Oh. Alright. Well, he casts Counterspell.
Oh, fuck. What the fuck is this half-dragon running around with Counterspell and Polymorph and Detect Magic?
Not Polymorph, Disguise Self.
Motherfucker!
And so he takes the fingers from your deformed hand that you were trying to use to cast Inflict Wounds. Oh, now. Think about this. I take you into my house. Snap. I give you
I'm
my...
not gonna roleplay the scream, but I'm screaming.
Yeah. I give you my hospitality. Snap. I feed you my food. Snap. I even share in an offer of friendship with you. Snap. And this is how you repay my kindness. Snap. Boy, you gotta think about your priorities. Because there is so much worse than I can do than kill you. He throws you into the cell. Boys, crucify the bird. Put him in front of the cell. The kobolds rush over, open Flip's cell, and drag him out. They tie ropes around his hands and throw the other sides of the ropes to the catwalk on the large building across the way and pull him until he's hanging there by his hands. Rathgar comes up.
No, continue.
Rathgar comes up to you and very quietly says, "You and I, we could have been friends, son. You and I, we could have been something great. And we still can. You can save your little friend up there. All you have to do is make nice. Once you earn my trust, well, you can come out. You and your friend can come and join our crew. Enjoy the bounty of our plunder. All you have to do is stop fighting me. Do you think you can do that?
What is your relationship with Niles Sheldarren?
You got a one-track mind. I respect
Because
that.
if you and him are friends, then you and I never will be.
Well, I think my point has been made. All right, boys. Cut him down. We've proved our point. He takes a big stoke off of a big drag off his cigarillo and kind of meanders back around the building. Get that pot of ink away from him.
I don't know if you can tell on the stream, I'm actually crying right now.
I'm sorry, is that are we...
No.
Is this too much?
Please, no, keep this going. This is too good. I'm just feeling so much in this right now. And when Flip was being dragged up, I started crying.
Okay, alright.
This is a story, and we're fucking finishing it.
Alright. So, the guards come in roughly. The lead guard punches you with the pommel of his scimitar again, and takes your ink pot. You see Flip's form kind of like, and then he falls to the ground maybe 15 feet, and you hear a nasty crunch when he hits the ground.
By the way, how bald is he?
He's been plucked from the neck up. So he does look like a vulture.
I have 4 more days. 4 more days to scheme this.
Mm-hmm.
Eris has 4 more days to scheme this.
So
I think that's where we gotta call that.
That's where we leave it. And we will be picking up with the rest of this story from the perspective of the bad joke. So, thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Eris, for playing.
It has been... Wow. It has been an incredibly long time since I have hated anything as much as I hate Rathgar right now. I'm so bummed I didn't get that pearl. Fuck, my plan was so good. My plan was so good.
Well, you'll have to think of another way around.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright. I got, you know what? I'm an artificer. I've been waiting 15 years. No, I've been waiting 12 years for revenge. I'll wait another 12 years in the cell if I have to. Eckhart plays that long game.
Yeah, he does. Alright, well, that'll do us for tonight. Thank you again to everyone who joined to watch. We'll be picking this up again on Tuesday, like I mentioned. On Monday, I will also be doing my Indie Game Mondays, where I will be playing an indie game from my itch.io library.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this in 2 hours on Tuesday. Shit.
Well, we may start a little early if April's up to it.
I will straight up like I'm home at 5:45. I will start playing at 6 if I can. Like I don't even care.
We'll make it happen. So,
Oh my god.
all right, everybody, go take a drink, take a toke, whatever you need to do, calm down. This was fun. Thanks again, everybody.
Wow. Yeah, thanks guys. Fuck.
Good night, everyone.